Hey, what's up, guys? Charles Van Mediva here. Welcome to another show. I'm here today with two very special guests, Shishanna Hogg. I got that right. I've been saying Hogg this whole time, right? And I got corrected today. It's Shishanna Hogg, the one and only broker with Shishanna Hogg team. Mm-hmm. And Justin Grable, our very own Able Mortgage. He's very able to put your deal together. That's corny. And,
but it works.
Perfect. Really hot topic, right? If you're watching this and you're a home buyer or a realtor for that matter, we're talking about 5 common mistakes that home buyers make, particularly first-time home buyers, but not just first-time home buyers. And we want to talk and discuss how to overcome those and basically not make those mistakes. So my first one is directed to Justin. Tell us, I guess, the most common thing that you see that home buyers are not doing right when they come to the table to buy a home.
A lot of times people think that their credit scores are a certain number, and when we go to check it, it's way off. I think a lot of people are relying on the wrong sources to get their estimated credit score. The biggest one that I see that is off the most is Credit Karma. I would definitely say go through your your credit cards. They typically have a better credit monitoring system than Credit Karma and stuff like that. But I mean, there's times where Credit Karma is showing them a 720 and they're a 620.
Why is that important? Really is that because you feel like if they looked first, they'd have a chance to make things better or make things right before they come?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you have an accurate representation of what your credit score is, if you think that your score is a 720, but it's really a 620, if you knew that it was a 620, you could very easily correct some things. But that's also a good thing too. I mean, if you do know what your score is, and your credit card balances are high, it's a really easy fix to, like if you have, I was doing a pre-approval on a client last week, and he had like 15 different accounts, and they were all $500 limit credit cards. Every single one of them was maxed out. Oh, wow. And I'm like, you could spend about $6,000, and he had, $25,000 in his account, but his score was a 592. And I just told him, I was like, look, if you spend, a few $1,000s and pay off 6 of these accounts and leave them at a zero balance, that's going to jump your score probably 50, 60 points.
Wow. It's almost unthinkable it's kind of like going to an interview and not being prepared, right?
Yeah.
It's unthinkable that you wouldn't know what is on your own credit report, and then you have a lender pull it like yourself, and you might be dropping the bomb on them. Yeah. Maybe you can't even do the loan as a result of what you see. Yep. That's a great point. What about reviewing the credit report for errors? Are you seeing that home buyers are kind of shocked sometimes by what they see on there? They had no idea that was on there.
Yeah, they had no idea some of the stuff that was on there. And a lot of times they just don't understand how credit works. You know, they think if they get a credit card that's going to be good for their score. But if you get a low balance or a low limit credit card and you make a couple charges on it, it actually hurts your score.
Thank you for that. Shishanna, from the real estate, you're in the trenches, selling real estate, putting buyers into homes. Yeah. Tell us one of the things that you see often that home buyers are doing wrong.
Well, I think the biggest thing is probably going towards what Justin's talking about, which you have to create the customized game plan to get the results that you want. And you need to start that before you actually start shopping. I mean, sometimes it just falls into your lap and everything works out fine. But for the most case, if you're a first-time home buyer, creating the customized game plan, understanding your credit score, understanding what it means to own a home and be a home buyer is probably going to be something that's one of the most important steps that a lot of people skip.
What is a customized game plan? Shed some light on that. What is that exactly?
So that's kind of just my token phrase. I don't know if anyone else uses that.
It sounds pretty good.
I like it.
But when I talk about a customized game plan, I starting from scratch. You figure out what your goal is. What's your motivation? What do you want to happen? And you build a plan that way. Some of our clients will have, they've been to college and they took out all the student loans. Some people don't understand their credit because their parents didn't teach them about credit. So really understanding where you are in the process, what your goal is, and then creating the plan to get you pre-approved to figure out what loan you qualify for and what home you can get. Because there's nothing worse than shopping for a home that you really, really think that you can buy. And then all of a sudden that's not in your price point. And then you get discouraged and drop out, right? And you're just not going to buy a house you're going to continue to rent, which is a huge, huge mistake. I feel like getting into the market even as a young person, getting into the market and building wealth through real estate is going to be the most important part, in addition to putting a roof over.
In other words, it could have been avoided by sitting down with
Absolutely.
with you. And does it matter what lender you choose? Duh.
Hell yes.
Okay,
Am I allowed to say that?
Why does it matter?
Yes.
I want you to. Why does it matter, Justin? Are all lenders created equal?
I mean, definitely not all lenders are created equal. There's going to be some lenders that have certain restrictions that they put on themselves. Some lenders will only do what's called an automated approval. Some will have restrictions on what debt to income ratio they'll let the borrower go up to whereas, it's definitely, it's not necessarily the restriction of the program that you're using, but it's just the restriction of that lender. But nobody's going to know, what those restrictions are going into it. So, I mean, it's always the best idea to go with your realtor's recommendation.
So what you're saying is some lenders have sort of like a self-imposed set of standards or restrictions that are maybe more restrictive than what's available elsewhere. But you as a home buyer would never know to ask if that's a lender-imposed restriction, right? Specific to that one lender, ABC Mortgage or whatever. So
if that lender tells you no, a lot of people just give up and they think, well, lenders are lenders. It's all the same.
And you, on the other hand, you working with the broker capability, you can access the guidelines of 40 different.
Can definitely say that not all lenders are created equal, and I'm not saying that the loan officer themselves, but the actual company that's doing the loan. Definitely, there's differences in the market, and there's certain companies that'll do niche programs that other companies won't touch. It helps to be working with somebody that knows all those different avenues, and when they see your file and they have it all unfolded in front of them, they know exactly how to put it together and where to put it to get it done.
That's awesome.
Right.
What's your take on that?
So I have a couple things. So with that, there's nothing more frustrating for not just realtors, but for the buyers themselves, when they go onto a simple site and I'm just making it up, like get pre-approved now, and they just spit out, or they go to their bank and they spit out a pre-approval or a pre-qual letter based on the information that they put in there. Like I make $20,000 a month. I've been at my job for 100 years. So they're automatically getting this approval. And then the buyer comes to you and said, I'm pre-approved, I'm ready. And yes, that's great, but none of that information is actual information that has been verified. So while it's a little bit scary, especially for first-time home buyers, I really, really feel like it's so important to treat your loan officer almost like your attorney. Give them all of the facts, don't paint the perfect picture of yourself. Tell them the truth. Tell them that you have a shopping addiction, that you've been to college, you took out student loans, whatever it is. Lay it all out on the table, because the loan officer is actually on your side. And what they do is they take all that information and they build a loan specific to your situation.
Awesome. Yeah.
So you're actually qualified when you go out shopping.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Turning the attention back to real estate, we're talking about home buying mistakes. Lowball offers. Can we talk about that? Is that
Sure.
Is that something that you still see even in this market, that people are looking to offer less?
So not as much in this market realistically, because I think people have heard the hype about, you got to come in aggressive. And for us, as we're building our customized game plan, we're really coaching our clients on how to navigate this market. So we're there to hold our clients' hands the entire process. However, what people don't realize is that if the difference between $10,000, like let's say the house is priced at $550,000, they have multiple offers, you got to come up to $575,000. I always break it down into payment, because most people buying their first home, they want to make sure it's affordable. So we want to figure out what your payment will be at $575,000 versus $550,000. And a lot of people are surprised that it's not that much difference. And every penny counts, of course, but it's not that much difference because it's over 30 years. So when you need to come in a little bit more aggressive, it's super important, especially in this market with how like low the rates are. That house that you may have overbid by 10, 15, 20,000 is actually going to cost you a lot less now than in the future if the rates do go up.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? I'm curious. I'm sure you see that too. You're probably
100%.
frustrated by you approve someone and then they're like, they're not in escrow because they're not,
got some clients
their cousin's
right now.
uncle told
And
them,
how
"Don't
many
offer
times
too
are you
much."
going to lose out on the house before,
Right.
You got to get in this market.
Yeah, and I've got a client right now, Wafe's old client, where she's now realizing that, she was every time that she would ask me for a rate and payment quote, it would be like the house is for $550, so she would do $545, $550, and $555.
It's like no difference.
And I'm like, we're just wasting our time. Like, you're going to be outbid by 15 other buyers. Why don't we start at $575, $585, and $600? And then I show her the difference in those. And we've been working with her since February, and she's just now starting to realize that, okay, I got to start getting aggressive.
Yeah.
And she's very, very, very conservative with her money, and she's done very, well for herself. And she's just very afraid to make the wrong choice. Yeah. But, like you're just out there wasting time.
But it's really down to a few bucks in the payment, really.
And that's the thing. It's like it's our goal is to help you save the most money and spend the least money. But if we're telling you, hey, this is what it's going to take to get this house and it's only going to cost you this, we're not saying that to get the sale done. We're telling you because we go back to your goal.
You don't want to miss an opportunity.
They shouldn't want to miss the opportunity.
Yeah, and you're doing it to actually get the house.
To get them the
house. You've got to understand, this is the craziest seller's market we've ever seen in the history of time. That seller has got 15 other offers that are all way above the asking price. Right. And, if you're not the top one, you're not even going to get looked at. You won't even get a response typically.
Probably a different topic, a different bullet point, if you would. I want to ask you guys, have you ever had a deal saved that was going sideways just because a family member came in and stepped in and either helped monetarily, had some more money, or,
all the time.
Hey, I'll co-sign for my daughter or for my son or my nephew or whatever. Have you had that happen?
Absolutely. And what's funny is that while you're building this customized game plan that I keep talking about, or whatever you want to call it, while you're doing the legwork before you actually go out shopping, you're exploring all options. Of course, you don't want to, a lot of people have trouble asking family members for money or whatever. But what people don't understand is that you can create such a great future by being a homeowner just by living in it, that a lot of times your family is willing to help you. A lot of times, if a parent could pay off a credit card or give you a gift for the down payment. It's worth exploring all your options just to get into this market.
I've never understood why family members, like our borrowers, feel so apprehensive about hitting up their mom or their dad or someone they've got a long-standing relationship with that's got the wherewithal to help and make this deal happen. They're like, oh no, I don't want to ask my mom. I don't want to ask my dad. Freaking ask him. Yeah. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to tell you no.
I can understand, wanting to do something on your own, but I mean, it's the difference of, living someplace that you don't want to live or living someplace where you do want to live. And it's, sometimes you just got to swallow our pride and
So what are the two ways, just to kind of make it clear to our audience, what are the two ways that a family member could make a deal happen for your buyer?
Obviously, a family member can gift you money for the down payment. They can gift you money to pay off debts. And that's another thing, that you can pay off debts to qualify. Like if you have some credit cards or other debts like that, you can certainly pay those off through the loan process to help yourself qualify. But you can also have a family member co-sign for you. Like if you've got mom or dad or grandpa who, has great credit, has good income, and doesn't have a whole lot of debt, they can jump on the loan with you, and we can use their income to help you qualify. And
how'd you mitigate? I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry. A lot of times a family member says, well, how long are they going to be on here? Right? I don't want my mom to be stuck with this for 5 years. What would you say to that person?
So after 12 months of you making that payment, we no longer have to count that payment against your cosigner. So as long as we can show proof of 12 months of you making the payment, that payment no longer counts against your cosigner. The other option there is, down the road when you're making more money, your situation has changed, you've got more equity, whatever it may be, we can always refinance out of that loan with both of you on there and just put the loan in your name.
Awesome. Good information, guys. Just to summarize for you. So we talked about 5 common mistakes that home buyers make. The first one was not reviewing their credit report and their credit score, right? Or reviewing it in such a way that it's like way off, right? Don't trust Credit Karma. No offense to Credit Karma. And then we talked about not having a game plan and making sure that they get with you to have, what was that fancy phrase? I love that phrase.
Customized game plan. I just threw it out there.
Customized game plan. You got to get a customized game plan so you're not walking in the dark.
Tailor-made.
Thirdly, homebuyer mistakes, choosing the wrong lender, right? A lender that doesn't have all of the programs, flexibility, a lender that has, unnecessary restrictions that could turn you, a qualified buyer, into an unqualified, prospect. So you want to be careful with that. And then what did we talk about? What was the fourth thing we talked about?
Don't look at me.
We talked about lowballing offers, right?
Yeah, lowballing offers.
Okay, don't lowball offers because it's not that time.
Or structure them appropriately. Lean heavy on your person that you've hired to literally help you achieve your goals.
Definitely listen to what the people who are helping you are suggesting because they know what they're talking about.
Right. So don't miss an opportunity. And finally, don't be afraid to hit up family members for help, monetary help, right? Yeah. Giving you money for, like Justin said, paying off bills or a hefty down payment, or better still, co-signing with you.
Watch, my daughter's going to call me right after.
Oh, there you go.
Not you, Deanna.
Except if you're a realtor. No, I'm kidding. Real quick, as we wrap up, how do they get a hold of you? Someone that's watching this that wants to engage your services, how do they get a hold of you, Shishanna?
So I don't know if you're going to have my information at the bottom, but Shishanna Hogg here. I'm local here. You can reach me all over Facebook, social media, but my phone number is 509-714-2162. I'm always available for you.
And Justin Grable, how do they get a hold of you, sir?
Again, you can probably find me anywhere. Just search Justin Grable. I'm probably there. But you can call 866-726-LOAN, 866-726-5626, or www.ablemortgage.com.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time and your expertise. These guys are 2 of the best in the business, and I know you got some good information there. And hey, maybe we'll see you on the next show.